with the Yankees being the best team in baseball right now, how important do you think it is for them to be this good this early?
It's like you said, April just finished, bro. What is 16-6? That's 22 games. We got 140 to go. I'm not really looking too far into this. We can go on a 20 win streak from here, a 20 game win streak from here, and then we could end up losing 15 out of 20 the next, 20 games. It's way too early. Granted, having a nice start to kind of get into a rhythm is imperative for a team like this that didn't really make many offseason moves. For a team that is trying to prove everybody wrong. Aaron Judge is in a prove-it-year deal. Obviously, Giancarlo Stanton is trying to repeat the success that he had last year. Luis Severino coming back from injury is trying to show that he can be what he once was as our former ace. Garrett Cole's got a lot of pressure after folding in the playoffs. And again, that list of people that we have on this roster just have that chip on their shoulder that say people doubted us, people kind of ruled us out. They said we were the third or fourth best team in the division, and look at us now. Now the list of teams that we have beaten aren't necessarily the most challenging. The Guardians questionable. The Orioles speak for themselves. The Royals haven't been good since they won the World Series 6 or 7 years ago. We played the Tigers and we lost to them one game out of a 3 game series. But again, we took that series 2 out of 3. These are not competitive teams. Now, granted, we're supposed to beat teams like this, so I'm not complaining that, we got wins in the win column, but where we struggle is against the good teams. Toronto, coming up a 3 or 4 game series there, starting tomorrow night, actually. Can we continue that dominance? We know that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has our number, George Springer has our number, and a litany of other players that are just very, very talented. Can our pitching staff hold up? A lot of times, Clark Schmidt, Garrett Cole get rattled early. Our bullpen's got to come up and settle it down, and then the offense has got to carry us. The offense has been the big part of our team's success over the last 3 or 4 seasons because we're out here smashing the baseball. Anthony Rizzo's playing out of his mind. Aaron Judge is playing crazy. Obviously, Giancarlo Stanton's had a couple of clutch hits as well. Josh Donaldson has played iffy at best, but he's had some clutch moments as well. Kyle Higashioka has been having an atrocious season. But I mean, again, you really look at it and you say, as a team, we are performing better than what people had expected. I myself included in those people that expected worse. But we're doing what we need to do against the bad teams. We're winning baseball games. And again, I will say this for the second time. We just finished April. The season just started. If we were sitting here in August and September and we were rattling off these wins, I'd be hyped. I'd be excited because it's all about who goes into the postseason hot, who carries that momentum. I'm not saying people are getting hurt, but it's usually around this time of the year where the first month is out of the way. We start making that break into the summertime. Somebody gets hurt for a long extended period of time. So I'm just saying I'm happy we're winning, but I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh my God, we're the greatest team in the world." I'm not gonna be like the New York fucking Mets every single season that start to win and then become immediately irrelevant as the season progresses. Yes, I'm calling out every single Met fan out there because you've done it since basically I was born. You legit win always in the beginning of a season. You're like Dallas Cowboys fans. Oh, we're going to the World Series. Oh my God, the Mets are the best team in New York. You haven't made the playoffs in what, 4 or 5 seasons? This take is unnecessary, but again, they were also at one of the top records in the MLB for the last couple of weeks as well. So I will give them their shine because I will credit teams that win. But I'm not going to go out there on a limb and say that the Yankees are the greatest team in the world. I will say that I'm happy they're winning, but I will say there's a lot of baseball still left to play, and that's where I'll leave it.
Well, like when I look at it, this year specifically, their bats have been phenomenal. I mean, when you look at some of these games recently, I mean, they put up a 12 spot against the Royals in I think the first game of that 3 game stretch against KC. You look at the Orioles series; they put up over 10 runs twice in that series. They had a game against the Guardians where they put up a 10 spot. I mean, essentially, bro, they're like putting up like multiple field goals and like a touchdown on top of that with some of these run totals. So they're putting up a decent amount of runs and they're doing a great job early on. And this is really kind of the antithesis of what they were last year. Because Kevin, you remember when we were talking about the Yankees last year? Like one component of their team would be amazing, and then the other half would be just utter shit.
Always. It's always
Like
one or the other.
their bats would be on fire, but the pitching would suck. If the pitching was great, the bats would suck. This is kind of a situation the way from what I see so far, it's fairly even keel. There have been some games where they've given up some runs, as far as the pitching staff is concerned. But by and large, the bats are showing up. I know when we talked about Anthony Rizzo compared to like Freddie Freeman, when we were talking about the Freddie Freeman deal before he went out to the Dodgers, I remember you were saying like you would prefer Freddie Freeman over Anthony Rizzo, and I think to a certain extent you were right. But I have to give Anthony Rizzo credit. He's been playing absolutely phenomenal in the first 3-4 weeks of the season. I mean, Judge, I think in that Sunday matchup against the Royals this past weekend, he smacked 2 home runs in that game. So he's
Yeah,
showing up really
Rizzo had
well.
a 3 home run game against the Orioles.
So I mean, the bats are showing up, and they're showing up in big ways. I think Gleyber Torres, he had a game-winning hit just about a week ago. I believe it was against the Guardians, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
the bats are showing up for the Yankees when they need it to. And granted, it's April. Well, it was April. Now we're in May, so it's still very early. I'm not gonna get you know too excited about where the Yankees are right now. They do have the best winning percentage in baseball. That has to count for something. Um, just by and large, the way that I always look at it is no matter what league it is, no matter what sport it is, that first month or two that you're playing, you're typically just making adjustments, kind of messing with the roster, seeing which rotations or which lineups work, and then you just kind of go from there. But as what I see with the Yankees right now, they're in a good spot right now, and that's despite the fact that you don't necessarily like Aaron Boone's coaching style, and I know that you've had plenty to critique him over the past couple of years in regards to his managerial uh, decisions. But for right now, they're in a good spot right now. But I'll say this: it's 1 month in. I remember when all the Knicks fans got super excited because they beat Boston the first game of the year, and they thought that they were going to the NBA Finals after their first fucking game. So I'm not going to say like the Yankees are going to go straight to the World Series just because they had a great April. That's not even close to reality at this point. But it's a good start. And that does count for something. Granted, it may not mean much in the totality of the season, but they're in a good place right now. And really, the main thing is just keep playing consistent. Granted, like you said, they're playing the Blue Jays. I think they actually have 2 series against the Blue Jays within like the next 2 weeks. So this will
That's gonna
kind
be
of
pivotal for me. That's gonna show me, all right, can we compete now that we're past the first month, the honeymoon stage of the year is over. Let's see what happens.
yeah, because I mean, if the Yankees are competitive against the Blue Jays, then you can maybe kind of raise this team's expectations a little bit more, just because I mean, the Blue Jays are really kind of nipping on your guys' heels at this current moment in time. I believe they're only a game and a half back of the Yankees for first place in the AL East. So it's a big series for both teams going into the start of this week. But all in all, the Yankees are off to a good start. And if you're a Yankees fan, I just hope the consistency continues. That's really just how I see it.